It's about that time once again, so I'm saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the various folks out there in the many time zone. Welcome to another presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates, and we're broadcasting from the Sands Complex, downtown Bastia in beautiful St. Kitts and Nevis, what I call my double slice of paradise. Before we get into the show, of course, we have to pause to give credit to our sponsors. If Jamsa is ready, and when we return, we have some goodies for you.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
Give your little smartie the perfect smart start for their future with CHIP, the child investment plan from TDC Financial Services. Invest in your child's next step, and we know what's next is always changing.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
CHIP is a long-term plan with no minimum deposit, no monthly commitment, and you're guaranteed a special high interest rate per annum.
I want chip. I want chip too.
Visit TDC Financial Services today and get CHIP, the child investment plan, providing the best head start for every child.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah, yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
At 11:03, we're back with the program, and I want to do something special at the top of the program today before we get into a little chit-chat with our very special guest. This song was written about 4 years ago while we were observing the 50th anniversary of the singing of the Christina. There was a ceremony at the back of the Treasury, and I couldn't show up in person to render it because I had some vocal challenges. Even if you listen to the song, during the last verse, you could hear actually, I was challenged. But because of the date and time, we are now at the 29th of July. It's Monday, July 29th, Tuesday, 30th, Wednesday, 31st, and Thursday would be marking the anniversary of the, I think it's 34 years now since the sinking of the Christina. So there are persons who, while on air, has showed interest or concerns at the fact that we have not done anything here on St. Kitts in terms of observing the anniversary, apart from building the monument behind the Treasury. So I remember, I said, yo, I have a song on it, so that's what happened. So we want to start the program with playing the song in honor of, because that'll be here on Wednesday. I want to start with the awareness now. I sent a copy to Jazzy D. I sent a copy to Weber Nevis because I think it's quite apropos for the time. And the song should be given some, you know what I mean? So here at WINNMedia Family, we have Jamsa on at the controls. We're going to play it for viewers and listeners at the moment. Okay? Thank you.
Suddenly taken on August the 1st, 1970.
1970, when the MV Christina came to disaster and sunk in the deep blue sea, where over 250 souls were lost in that tragedy. Some loved ones were recovered, some never seen again, but the pain of that sad memory remains. To some it's just a faded memory, while some can't stand to be reminded of that tragedy. They're still struggling to find closure when they're thinking of the Christina, to mother, father, son, and daughter. Suddenly to meet the maker, we found that this will not happen again. While yet to address those still in pain, from when loved ones suddenly taken, tore the world apart, some still linger on. Memories we suppress when coping with the sadness of human tragedies, most traumatizing. Imagine the misery when from one family is missing, uncles, aunties, cousins, most of your siblings. Many desperately join the search parties as they clung to hope. Many fell preying on their knees as their means to cope. Survivors told stories of the many they tried to save, and the many they saw go down to a watery grave. To some it's just a faded memory, while some can't stand to be reminded of that tragedy. They're still struggling to find closure from when this maritime disaster took mother, father, son, and daughter. Suddenly to the hereafter, we found that this will not happen again. We're yet to address those still in pain, from when the sudden loss of their loved ones tore the world apart. Some have followed on broken hearts. Though many books have been written, many of the younger ones are not taught in school about this tragedy. In our school's curriculum, there's little or no mention, because we choose to teach selective history. The story of the Titanic we know wholeheartedly, but leave it up to Captain Skeet to play some reeds annually. No wonder there's no closure. Some 50 years on, it's time we gather to honor our own. To some it's just a faded memory, while some can't stand to be reminded of that tragedy. They're still struggling to find closure from when this maritime disaster took mother, father, son, and daughter. Suddenly to the hereafter, we found that this will not happen again. We're yet to address those still in pain, from when the sudden loss of their loved ones tore the world apart. Some still linger on broken hearts. Why-oh!
Documenting our history, right? I want to say good morning to Miss Rosemary Donald up there in New York City. By the way, the information that you requested, I'm supposed to get that from the Department of Tourism this morning, so I'll forward to you ASAP. Okay? So, you're listening to Voices, another presentation of, and that song I played was done some years ago to observe the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Christina. Right? And later on, we're going to get into more of that in terms of discussion. So I'm going to ask the public to hold the calls as I need to introduce the guest of the hour. Last week, it was Friday, when I left here, I went to the circus and just happened to run into a very young, handsome, tall, debonair-looking young fellow. And we struck up a conversation, only to find out that he's pedigreed. He's pedigreed. He let me know he's also an entertainer, a rap artist, and he's the son of the very famous entrepreneur, and now radio host Lavi. His name is Irvin Sutton, also known as by his artist name E-Money. And we had a conversation about rap music in general, and I was expressing my disdain for some of the lyrics presented in a lot of rap songs that actually objectify your women, denigrate them, etc. I have a serious issue with that. There's some songs that are very uplifting, they're holistic, and I listen to those, but the songs, we have many famous rap artists who became famous from denigrating our women because the folks who control the music industry actually have them do that. And I've asked a question on this program before to name me a white rap artist who have done the same to white women, calling them the B word, the H word, etc., etc. I'm still waiting for the answer. So that was the discussion we would have had last week Friday. And the young man was telling me certain things, that his lyrics are not that way, but he understands that. So we had a discussion, and I said, why don't you come to the studio and let's discuss it? And he's here now. As I said, you've been here before with your mom, Lavi, but you're here now.
I stopped by the studio before.
Okay, on your own. You may need to get the microphone a bit closer because we want people to hear you clearly. So even though I've given your name, what you need to do for me and our listeners and viewers is reintroduce yourself, say who you are, who you be, what you do.
Got you.
Okay, so the mic is yours.
Just want to say thank you, Mr. Socrates and WINNFM, for having me today on you guys' show. My name is Irvin Sutton. I go by the rap artist name. That's my artist name, E-Money 305. You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, basically all major streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And
so Jamster, you got that, because if you want to get a sample of your music, you can get from the link it, right?
I haven't sent you a track now, but I could get one over to you.
Okay, because we'll be interested to hear. Well, okay, we're going to discuss that part about being clean and airworthy because families listen. So and that was my issue with some of the content of these rap songs. So you go ahead.
Well, the first thing I would say, when it comes to like rap music itself, or music in general, I mean, any genre could basically degrade women, But it seems like from what the conversation that we had, it seems that as though the world views rap artists as being the number one genre that disrespects or degrade women.
Also most popular because
most popular.
Calypsonians and some calypso actually degraded women. It was a norm. It was more or less acceptable.
And that's what we talked about as well.
Didn't know better, but some of the biggest and most popular songs throughout the region denigrated songs and women. Some of our more popular Calypsonians.
And I would say I don't agree with it, and I don't condone it. But do I use the B word or whatever you want to call it? I do use it in my songs. I guess it doesn't, like, I don't actually refer to women as a B or whatever you want to call it, But It is used in a lot of our songs, you know, but I don't think that we deliberately mean to disrespect any woman in particular, because at the end of the day, we all have mothers, sisters, aunts, you know. We definitely respect our women
Your
throughout the world.
influence in that genre. Who your big name influence? Who you follow?
Who do I follow? Man, there's plenty of people, dead or alive.
Dead or alive?
Man, first of all, you got Tupac, rest in peace, Biggie. You got Jay-Z. Lil Wayne is someone that I truly look up to. Kodak Black, you know, Kodak Black is an inspiration, man. A lot of people, they might not understand his music. They might not even understand his accent, because right now, like they call it mumble right now or whatever. But I look up to those people, man.
My charge to you during our discussion is that you have a platform and an opportunity to change the tone of those songs. We spoke about they've been popular and they're in, and it's about making the money. That wasn't your phrase. But once something is selling, everybody jump on that particular bandwagon. I think you can be seen by the cameras. You're young, you're tall, you're statuesque, right? And I believe you have a clean image. I'm going to repeat myself. You have the opportunity to change the tone via your music, because music reaches so many persons and is a major influence on our young people. I find you can be very marketable, very personable. So when I say this changing the tone of the music, we want to go into that, because I had some ideas and I shared them with you. He wasn't really pushing back. But I'm saying sometimes you don't need to jump on the bandwagon. You don't need to figure, well, that they're the ones making the money, so I have to follow them.
That's true.
Think consciously.
I wouldn't say I'm not following anybody, but because a lot of my music, it pertains to my real life. But I do see where you're coming from.
So let's take a spin off from what J.D. Vance said, the VP for Trump. He's getting a lot of feedback, a lot of flack now for the comment he made about women, childless cat women, etc., etc. Women need to be celebrated, not denigrated.
They need to be uplifted year-round.
That's the word I'm looking for.
What we need to stop doing is just using Mother's Days and these days to remember our women. We need to remember them every day. And then going back to like the music side of it, you know, you're not saying that you're saying to change my lyrics, but you're saying, hey, be more uplifting and what's not.
Understanding, because if you have songs that speak to the struggles that women go through, not only in the U.S. but here, because there's some people who don't understand the sacrifices that some women have to make to support their children.
That's true.
And she may do something that is not popular, and she gets a name. She gets a name
based off what the music is saying. I see what you're
right.
saying, but then what
I
comeback to that,
want you to be the defender of women's virtue.
I'm always going to defend women, but my comeback to that would be.
But lead on it.
My comeback to that, I would say, would be to make the change on the ground, you know, because I mean, we all, you know, like we was talking about, you know, you might hear something in a song or what's not, a reference to certain, even in Calypso, you know, we had a conversation about that. And I feel like it takes the real you, the real person behind the artist or whoever, you know, back on the ground to be the voice or be the change. Like, hey, man, nah, this is not what I meant, or this, nah, that's not. I definitely don't condone this.
Now you're being defensive. You have to go out and defend.
Because I'm defending my lyrics and the women, because at the same time, I wouldn't want them to feel that way. Nah, that's not what I meant, you know, because you got, like I said, I look up to Kodak Black. I like Kodak Black. He got one of his songs say, he should have.
Jam say, you know the artist he's referencing, Kodak Black?
Kodak, I like Kodak, but I feel where you're going with it. But I like Kodak. That's my dog. I'm gonna always defend him. But he said, hey, I should have ate the perk. I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it. Right? That's referring to popping pills or what's not. And you know, just the other day, he came out on his live show and he told people, he said, man, I was capping. Capping means I was lying, you know, and that's not something that he would want people to feel like, hey, you should be out here popping pills or whatever the case may be, because like I was telling you, if somebody tell you to go, if I say in my song, hey, go jump off a cliff, I don't think much people, they going to use their common sense at that point and say, man, I'm not going to go jump off a cliff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it takes you as the person that's listening and the artist and the people in the music. It takes us as a team, honestly, to reassure people, hey,
My challenge to you
this is not what we actually
is to
mean
be
to do, you know?
a person that's positively affirming, positive reinforcement, because a lot of folks out there are going through a lot of challenges, right?
That is
Do
true.
you know that most of the major, if not all of the major genres of music have been started by the black people? We may not have received the credit, but we need to go back into history. We have been, even what? Country music.
Country music, rock and roll, and what's now. You got. I see that's the thing. A lot of people think it is. It's the white
So,
person started this. and
correct,
what's not.
because
It
of
was
how
always
it's-
a black person behind a lot of.
So we are
the different
trailblazers.
genres.
I am challenging you to be a trailblazer. Where women can listen to a song by you and figure, hey, I like the song. And women are when it comes to the population here, they're bigger. Right? You have more women on the ground than men. You can create an audience for yourself by women who want to listen to that, feel uplifted, feel respected, and feel it's a song they can listen with the children.
True.
That is my challenge to you. Don't follow the beaten track.
And I
It's
take.
popular out there.
I tell you what. I take on that challenge. I do. I take that challenge
Please.
on. I do.
Please. I jammed some in our song. I did a song a couple of years ago called The Price of Saltfish. Right? Humorous song. But it was Ingrid Child Gums and Sister Sylvie Henry who told me about Socrates. All the vendors in the song are female. And to them was an insult. I got the point. I knew you shaking your head. Because compared to a lot of music out there, I thought mine were like cool and not, there's a thin line between smutty and witty. So I was more witty. But two females gave me a different perspective. Ingrid Charles Gums and Sister Sylvian Henry. They said to submit to Socrates, but all the vendors in the song are female. So you never know who you're insulting, who sees that as an insult to the community.
You would never know if unless the community speaks up, and then it takes you, like you as the artist, being a man and being humane to understand. Oh, let me listen to what this person has to say, and you know you make a
So
a
what
change.
I'm seeing now, your beard is black.
Say that one more
You're
time.
here, your beard is
Oh,
black.
gotcha.
My beard is white. So I'm giving you a perspective from someone who's much older than
Let's
you
say, and that's what I say. Let's say your beard is knowledge. Let's say that.
Okay, appreciate that. I'm giving that from that perspective, somebody who's been in the industry, recognize smut. When people are supposed to be writing wit, they come across as smutty. And, you know, it's funny to a lot of people. But it came from a place when we didn't know better. Because after emancipation, we were kicked out on the street with no education. So that habit on the plantation of denigrating our women, having 10, 15 children, allow us to serve the plantation's economic interests. But you were kicked out on the street, and then you're hearing, how come black man got 10 women? Or how come we were trained that way? And your children came along and saw you as a father doing that. And became cool to have 4, 5, and 6 women. Because we've never had that holistic conversation as to why we do certain things. So you now, having a microphone in your hand, you become an educator. Don't follow the crowd and be just also run. Let's pause now for a few words from our sponsors, and we come back. And then hear your perspective based on what is, you know. I want to hear from you because I like you. I like how you present, but I know you have a platform and an opportunity to change that trajectory. Downtown.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Rhymes the good food, people always there to serve you. Rhymes the
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
The ultimate summer begins at TDC. Celebrate Culturama's 50th anniversary with unbeatable savings at TDC St. Kitts and Nevis Home and Building Depot. With Berger's Hardware Hustle. Purchase 2 gallons or more of Berger Royale, weatherproof or 404 paint for a chance to win a $1,000 shopping spree. Dive into our indoor and outdoor furniture specials and cool them down AC units and fans. No duty, no VAT. Plus, get 20% off all back-to-school items from now until August 31st. Shop online for even more deals at shoptdcgroup.com. Transform your home this Culturama 50th with a home renovation loan from TDC Financial Services. The ultimate summer begins at TDC. Visit us today and let the savings begin. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details. Together we succeed.
Welcome back to our viewers and listeners. You are logged on to WINNFM 98.9, and we are 28 minutes down into the program today. My name is Socrates, and I have with me in the studio, I say with us because Jamster is here with us, Mr. Irvin Sutton, and his stage name, or his artist name is E-Money. There's a number behind that?
E-Money 305.
305.
That's on my streaming.
And I ran into him in the circus last Friday and engaged him into a conversation about the content of rap music, and I gave him a challenge about trying to change the tone, the contents that really empowers women rather than denigrate them. So is it your time to feedback, see how you feel about the whole thing, and just talk about
Man,
what you've been doing in rap, etc. And we're going to keep the lines open. Anybody want to join us? 6620989. You have a call on the line? Okay, good day, caller. You're live on Voices. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices. Hello there. Okay, if we're not connecting, E-Money, it's all yours.
I would say lyrics are words that make up a song. So once again, I would definitely tell the public, the world, to not take heed into every single thing that someone is saying in a rap or a song. In my particular case, I'm defending the rap world because that's what I am. I am a rapper. I do actually sing in some of my songs. I just released a track there the other day. I think I was telling you about it. I was actually proud of myself because I released a track where it had no curse words at all in the song.
Let's take this caller. Good day. Caller, you're live on Voices. We may have lost that one also, so we keep trying to get him as soon as possible. E-Money. It goes off.
The public got something to say. I want to hear what the public got to say too. But like going back to what I'm saying, like as far as like me changing like what I rap about, I think as my career evolves, I am going to rap and talk about different things. I think it's going to get more positive over time.
Let's see if we get this caller. Good day, you're live on Voices.
Yeah, good morning, the King.
Good morning, Dr. Culture.
Okay, good morning, Jamsto and Mr. Sutton.
Good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm good, man, I'm good.
Good.
Let me start here. You said, Socrates said your beard is black and his is white.
Yeah. Apparently, but I told him his is wisdom.
Yeah, well, you see, what you call experience is power.
It is.
And Socrates has given you the best advice as one who portrays to be what you call a messenger.
He is.
Well, when I first heard rap, that's many years ago, I did not like the lyrics, and I said, no, that form of expressing how they feel, that is a way to curse who they're cursing. But like Socrates said, pull away from that. You are a Caribbean man. Caribbean is made up of calypso. And calypso tells what happens throughout the whole year.
So you'd be telling me to change my genre, which I won't be doing, but I do understand where you're coming from. And there's have you ever heard of the song "All My Life" by Lil Durk and J. Cole?
No. Well, listen, what I'm saying, I'm not telling you to change your job. Change the way you do your job.
Understood, but what I'm asking you, if you could, right? Listen to, because like I said, even me, every rap song is not the same, man. When every rapper is not degrading women at all. But what I would urge you if you could, I would urge you if you could go listen All My Life. Go ahead.
What I am saying, calypso is so easy to put together and sing. Reggae is so easy to put together and sing. Conscious reggae.
That's true, but I'm not a calypsonian. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that's the type of music that you like. And hey, I like calypso music too. I like soca music. There's a lot of genres that I like, you know. But when it comes to like,
let me come back to that. Originally, this rap thing, it was designated to cuss who they want to cuss. So what Socrates is telling you, do not be a part of that. You could get your message out in a different way. Okay, thank you. That's all I got to say.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Go listen to All My Life if you could, please. Listen to All My Life by J. Cole and Lil Durk if you could, please. All right.
Yeah. Okay. See you.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good day.
Right. You too.
Yes, sir.
I don't believe you have a call. I don't believe I gave you the impression that I'm against all rap and all rap is negative.
You didn't at all. You did not
because
at all.
I would not like people to get that impression. No, not at all. Right? I have listened to some songs that are really good and uplifting, and those that are negative, I don't. Now, rap.
They got some songs, not the country. They got some songs, rapper, like I just don't listen to them, period. So I get where you're going. You know, I understand.
Rap, to my mind, was a genre that spoke to protest. And you must have protest. Music can be used as a form of protesting a system. You know, inequities and a lot of stuff. So I appreciate particularly in that environment in the U.S., where you had to create a voice for yourself to be heard, right? I find the way some people dressed, black people specifically, was also a form of protest. You know, you were rebelling subconsciously against the system. And without people trying to understand the language you're trying to convey, they came out all condemning, oh, you have your pants down, this and that. It was a form of protest, same as rap or any genre of music can be used as a form of protest.
That is true.
Having made your point, I have seen, from my particular perspective, too many of our young, impressionable people, right, turn to the negative because of the lyrical content. Now, my beef with Queen Latifah is this, and it's personal. She was the most radical. Had a following, and she was there, and she was in your face, and people applauded her.
A lot of people don't even remember
now she's Miss Maybelline.
Exactly, yeah.
And because of that, a lot of young women is looking to her as a model. The straight hair, the mascara, because she's an icon that people look up to. So you have a responsibility based on the example you must set. There's no reason that we have to be in the weave and the mascara and the this and that, but they bought her and made her from the radical Queen Latifah to Miss Maybelline. You see what the money is here, right? She's a model and, okay. That's the thing. She made a decision to go for the dollar. But as an influencer, you have really betrayed a lot of young, black, conscious women. Because you've taken away from what is their true culture and the history to follow that imagery that says you have arrived. I don't like it, but that's, I say, my personal thing. You don't need to do that. If you're black and Afro-conscious, as you claim to be, you don't do that. You don't sell out. That's your sellout. But that's me. But the point I'm making is that you as an influencer have a lot of people who you may not know that are looking up to you. And I said to you, if you You don't have to take my advice, but think about it. And start to bring songs that are positively uplifting for our women who've been through so much. Speak to their struggles, what they've overcome. Single mothers, what they have to overcome. Speak to the fathers. Be there for your children. Positive.
That's true. I would reference back to like Tupac's "Dear Mama" song and things like that, uplifting his mom or mothers, because it wasn't just his mom. Like you said, there's people that's gonna listen, and I could only imagine like other people thinking just from listening to the song, like, man, my mama was there for me, or man, I grew up without a dad, or like whatever, from based off the lyrics from that particular song.
Right. Jam, any input? I see you busy over there. Any input? Because you play a lot of rap music. R&B, rap, etc., but but the one that he references you don't like, you think is an idiot. I don't know who the person is. You would have your opinion.
Kodak.
Huh?
Kodak's a Florida baby, man. You ever heard of the Florida man stories? You ever heard of when you just go online, you see Florida man? Like, Florida's just a whole different place, man.
Okay. So your mom is from St. Kitts. Just about everybody knows her. So were you born here? Were you born in the U.S.? Did you raise it? Because according to where you were raised, that influence can stay with you.
Boy, I'll open up a can of worms and say I was told where I was born. Right? How am I know where I was born? You see what I'm saying? I'm a little baby. Hey, somebody told me where I was born. But my birth, so I was born in Florida. That's where I was born, in Miami, Florida, Jackson Memorial Hospital. I was raised here as a baby.
Here in St. Kitts?
Here in St. Kitts.
Okay.
I went to convent school. I left, went to the States, came back to convent school. There's multiple times where I came and left, man.
Okay.
And there was a time frame that I went to Baxter High School as well.
Okay.
So I would say I had the best of both worlds growing up, and
beautiful.
Definitely, I'm thankful and appreciative that I had an opportunity to grow up here.
Sometimes our environment influences our decisions, the culture, and when you're raised, that has a major influence.
And that's true. You're right, because I remember growing up, man, like, we ain't know nothing about no Bloods and Crips and what's not. I went away and came back, and they had Bloods and Crips here.
Back here?
Yeah, right here in St. Kitts. So I was like, man, who brought it here? You see what I'm saying? Like, it ain't start here. So like you said, people, we go away, we learn different things, and we come back and what's not.
But on social media platform, and the music again, that has, of course, an impact on how our children view the world.
It does.
View the world. Now, as a songwriter, somebody called me yesterday, asked me to write them a song. I said, do you have a topic? They want to know what happened to Calypso, because it's not as popular as before.
That's the topic would be what happened to Calypso?
Yeah, he wants to know. Okay. He wants to sing like, challenge what happened to Calypso and find. So I said, okay, I'll deal with that. And he said, okay. There was a time when you had up the village, you had King Sweeney, and you had Elimat representing Newtown.
Oh, man,
I
remember Elimat growing up. Yeah.
Right? But that's gone. But that's not the reason why Calypso is in the state it is today. There are many factors that affect that. But he's concerned because our carnival comes up shortly and he wants to present a song on the topic of Calypso. Now, I have so many opinions that I'll try to put in the song and share, blah, 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 blah. But yes, we have so many other genres today that have imploded into the same space. You have this generation have more opportunities and platforms to go to other genres. Your phone, etc., etc. They have time with Calypso. And they got to rap, they got to R&B, they got to reggae, whatever.
But how unfair would it be just think about this. How unfair would it be to a child here, right? For somebody to tell, growing up, somebody to tell that child or that person or whatever, hey, man, you from the island, so you only should be a Calypsonian, or you should only sing soca.
I don't get that.
I'm just saying that would be very unfair,
That was done in Trinidad with Bill, for his name. He was the owner of Soca Malak, right? And he told young Calypsonians in Trinidad, if you want to get the exposure, don't sing Calypso, come and sing soca. And the young artists start to look at the older Calypsonians who were not advancing socially. You know, they were flashy, and then look at Marshall Montana.
Oh, that's my guy, man. I
He's
like
got
him.
a tour van. He's getting all the big contracts, etc. So the influence of the music, taking people away from calypso. So nobody tells you because you're born in the region you have to see calypso. Nobody does that. It's culturally we try to preserve it because it's part of who we are. You think reggae? What do you think? Jamaica.
I was going to just go
You
straight
think
to
calypso? Trinidad, Tobago. Sinkers is not really known as a big, but we have some mega calypsonians
We
here.
do. I remember that biting insect song growing
That
up.
was from was it Grenada, Trinidad?
Oh, it wasn't me. It wasn't
Macintosh?
from here.
What a Macintosh? Atlantic, and not from Sinkers.
I thought it was from here.
You got it wrong.
See, I grew up just hearing it,
Yeah,
thinking that it was from here.
And so during the carnival time, calypso normally features as they start the forerunner to help market the carnivals. I mean, you have this saying that no calypso, no carnival, because it was an intrinsic part of carnival. But now it's been put on the back burner for soca is now emerged, taking center stage and all that. So nobody pigeonholes you into corners here must sing calypso.
Hey, you hear what the last caller just told me? Hey, you from the Caribbean, so
Yeah,
that's
we
what
understand.
I mean, that's his opinion, but that's where I'm going. That's what I'm referencing to. Is like you can't expect for somebody to stick to a particular genre because of where they're from.
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you just said, we have all these different platforms, social media. It could be somebody in the States. Think about it. There might be somebody in the States right now that ain't never heard a soca song, and they might be the best soca artist ever. You see what I'm saying?
They might go to AI.
AI is a can of worms, man.
And so calypso's origin was not in Trinidad. It was rebirthed in Trinidad. Came from West Africa. The griots, the oral historians, that's what they did. They chronicled everything in song. They were actually qualified musicians.
I'm learning
and
something.
they were troubadours traveling from town to town. They chronicled birth, death, marriage, everything that happened in society, that's what they did. And they passed on the history through the oral traditions. We are multicultural in Africa, so you find a ship may have gone to Trinidad, Jamaica, with people with different cultures. And so calypso was rebirthed in Trinidad. I'm not a Trinidadian, but I've been on stage with Trinidadians, and I went before with calypso because this talent it's in our DNA. Came from Africa, not from Trinidad. Nothing wrong with them claiming it. They've claimed pan. Of course, but Sweden want to claim pan because they have not actually documented pan in Trinidad. Sweden want to claim it as their own, and so it was a court issue. So you have to look at what you have as a culture, a part of the culture, and document it. And so within the schools, within the region, they are getting the kids to get involved in calypso.
You said pan, steel pan, right?
Steel pan, yeah.
Okay. And we can't rest in peace, Mr. Boots, because I remember him growing up as well.
Boots. There's a band here that honors him. It's called EBJ. Harmonics. Earl Boots Jones. That's
man,
his
he
name.
used to go from school to school teaching people to play steel pan, man. I remember walking past, because he used to come to convent school as well. And I remember, man, because I used to play basketball, so I would be like, man, they're in there playing steel pan every day. What's going on in there? And man, I remember, not that he forced me. I remember one time he said, "Man, come, you playing pan." Next thing I was playing steel pan, and he taught me that quick. You see what I'm saying? Like,
so EBJ Harmonics.
EBJ Harmonics. I'm a
steel band, and they've won, I don't know if consecutively, the steel band competition. It's in honor of his name. Earl Boots Jones, that was his name. So E for Earl, B, Boots Jones, EBJ Harmonics. Check them out.
EBJ Harmonics.
And they're bad.
Check them out.
They're bad. So they gave that name to the band in honor of him, and they're doing a great job, etc. So you see the whole legacy thing? What legacy? So I'm glad to know that you play some pan. Pan was created in Trinidad, I'll give them that, but in terms of calypso, it didn't come from there. Hey,
One of his
Jamster?
favorite lines used to be, Play the pan, don't beat the pan. That was one of his favorite lines.
Yeah. Downtown, once again, Jamster, let's give credit to our sponsors. Got to pause for another thing, and then the lines are still open for anyone who want to join us in conversation. Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
TDC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Here a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to our viewers and listeners. It's about 11:49. We are coming down to the end of the first half of today's presentation of Voices. And we have a little chit-chat with a young Mr. Sutton, also known as E-Money, and there's a number behind it, which I didn't have. I did ask Jamster about playing one of your songs, and he says if it's clean. Now, hear my question. Have you been to any of the other stations and presented your music?
I have not. Honestly, I haven't been in St. Kitts and Nevis for over 10 years, honestly, and I have not went to any other radio stations here.
So do you have anything that you think is radio worthy so we can play?
That's all. If I could send it to him via email, I should have something on my phone here.
Okay.
But I do have a lot of different music on my phone that I could get over to.
I want to be able to hear a bit of your work and play it if it's not a problem in terms of the lyrics, because that's a challenge. We are a family-friendly radio station. That apart, I have had a lot of songs written by local persons. I would not listen twice. I hear it and say, that's garbage. A lot of vulgarity. So it's not you in particular or rap in particular. People using the various genres can use foul, vulgar lyrics in the songs. I think it's cute. It's just a perspective. If I'm a presenter, I'm not playing that because I'm thinking about the kids who are listening. We have a responsibility to help molding the minds of the young people. You know, so if you can find a song that's really worthy, I know the folks here in St. Kitts would like to hear music.
Let me see what I have in my files here, and I should be able to get something over to him.
Okay. Let me see. So you do your thing. You have his do you have his email address?
I actually don't. Let me see. Hey, Jackson, would you be able to get your email address over to me?
I think I have it someplace. I'm not sure. So yes, it's 11:51. It's Monday, the 29th day of July, and I started the program with playing a track that spoke about Christina. It's called Christina Spain, but we took time out to interview a young man. If I were to give a good description, tall.
And to all the listeners out there, the ways how to find me via social media would be on Facebook. My first and last name, Irvin Sutton, Ervin. Last name Sutton, Sutton. I'm on Instagram as well, E305 Money. I'm on Twitter as well. Same thing, pretty much. You just type in eMoney305. TikTok as well. I'm on pretty much every social media platform.
So 5 years from now, what are we hearing from you?
5 years from now, man, I should definitely be in a world stage, I would say. As far as music, what you would be hearing from me, I can't really tell you, man.
Remember when you get up there, right, on the world stage, and you're all famous to say, well, I had a little influence or some advice from an old man I made a singing some years ago, and I took on a nugget or two of what he said to me, and here I am today. Because sometimes we have to look at our talent and guide them if we can. Not that we know what is the right direction, but we know where you're going is not really that good. So we try to advise you.
Man, and I appreciate that. I definitely do appreciate the advice.
And coming from St. Kitts?
I'll take heed to it. I definitely try to, I guess, I wouldn't say change my lyrics, but I try to be more positive. I mean, there's always room for positivity. And I've been working with a lot of different rap artists, producers, and things behind the scenes. There's this guy called IX from Virginia, signed with RCA Records. Peanut, the Real Nut from St. Thomas. I don't know if you know of him. Well, the Virgin Islands, St. Croix. I don't know if you've heard of him before.
I'm not familiar with those.
Well, he's into basically, like, I guess you call it island drill music, and they're into soca music as well. Linked with a Florida rapper called Lil Hype, Kodak Black.
That's the one that you mentioned?
Yeah, I'm linked with him and his team as well. I'm kind of linked with a lot of different artists and producers in the industry as well. But let me see what I could get over to you here real quick, Jamster.
I know I have Jamster's thing, if you can find it. That's his voice call. No, I don't have it. If you can get it to him, I would like for our listeners to get a bit of your music before you go, because you're here.
Sounds
like
good.
The fact that you claim your heritage. If you were to, well, you've been back and forth for a while. If you were to, not that you have to have an opinion, but based on what you're hearing about our situation, the young people today, and the struggles, the challenges they're going through, if you were to speak to them for any reason, what would you say to them?
Challenge they're going through as far as life challenges, or just like
generally?
I mean, I would say keep your head up, keep the faith, and just take things a day at a time, man. Rome wasn't built overnight. I know we all heard that saying before.
And there are those who believe that the grass is greener on the other side. Those in the music industry specifically, what would you say to them?
The grass ain't greener on the other side, because, I mean, a lot of times we're afraid of the unknown, but a lot of times it's kind of best to kind of stick to yourself. Like, even with me, like, getting, like, different music and stuff like that, like, out to the world, I'm very particular who I share my music to, because I always think about protecting the rights to my music and protecting myself, But anybody that's out there, up and coming, or whatever that you want to be in life, it don't even have to be music, you know what I'm saying? I would say just stick to it, believe in yourself first. Everybody, when you start to do something positive or something for yourself, everybody's gonna be in your ear, man. I've experienced it. Like,
telling you what?
It ain't about what telling you. It's just try to, you in a sense, like, trying to make you lose focus, because a lot of the times it's indirect. You're not going to see it, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, forget what people got to say. I don't really care what you got to say or what you got to tell me or what's not. You know what I mean? Because you're not really feeding me. You're not supporting me per se. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I'm saying to stay focused. You know, because a lot of times you realize, I don't know if it happens to you, but I've experienced it. When you try to stay focused on one particular thing, man, all of a sudden it's like everybody's in your ear. Everybody's like, oh man, let's go do this, let's do that. And I'm saying you would lose focus trying to
if you don't know yourself,
everybody, you know. And that's
if you don't know yourself.
Knowing yourself. But that's one thing I realized, you know. I was actually working on getting my license in a particular field a few years ago during COVID. Multiple licenses, actually. I was working on two things at once, trying to kill two birds at one time. I don't want to disclose it to the public.
No, you don't have to.
It's actually going to be a surprise pretty soon.
Okay.
But I was working on two licenses, man, and I just realized that, man, like, every time I was trying to focus on these particular things, and I was going really hard on them, man. I was focusing and focusing. That's when my phone was blowing up, whether it's family, whether it's friends. Like, that's what I'm trying to get to. Don't let anybody limit you at all. That's what I would say to anybody that's coming up, trying to make a change in their life or make a change in the world. Just stay focused.
We have mega thousands of people, if not millions, creating new material every day, hoping to be on the big stage, etc. So it's a jungle out there, to coin a phrase. For those who are facing challenges in that direction, looking at opportunities, apart from saying be positive, focus, etc., etc.
There's no friends in the industry.
There are friends in the industry.
Dog world. Everybody out for themselves. It's rare, very rare that you're going to find somebody that's going to put themselves aside to say, hey, man, I got you.
What about agents?
Like a record label or agents?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even a record label in this industry, like I just said, it ain't no friends. And even with signing record deals, and I had all that come to me, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking with a record company right now. But what it is, a lot of the times, especially when you sign a record label deal,
they got you.
They got you, per se. Not saying it's a bad thing to do. I would never steer somebody away from signing a record label deal. But what I'm saying is you were dead more than alive to them and to the world anyways, per se. Cause
but they got you locked in.
They got you. They got your royal. If you don't have certain things in place, I'm telling you, these people got you. They really do. Because that ain't your mama and that ain't your daddy. They ain't your friends. That ain't the guy that you grew up with. These are people that's in a business for themselves. So what I'm saying is make sure you read what you're signing. Make sure you keep your eyes and ears open. So a lot of us out of
desperation and the allure of the grand stage, you just sign.
You got a lot of people that just sign their life away, and I'm going to leave it there.
We are at noon, where we must now break for the presentation of the midday newscast. Are we ready with that, John? Okay, until he tells us. So that has been the experience for many up-and-coming artists. And they get the glitz and the glamour, according to Buju Banton. It's not an easy road. They see the glamour and the glitter, and they think it's a bed of roses. It's not. And so you end up with a lot of artists starving, a lot of them dropping out. I recall an artist here in St. Kitts who told me he was a star. A lady was passing through Fort Thomas Road, and he called to her. And he was kind of disrespectful. She didn't answer him. And he said to her, you know who you're talking to? I am a star. I'm thinking, really?
Star in his mind. And see, that and goes back to being humble. You got to be a humble person, regardless of what you do. I mean, you got Byron Messiah that grew up here as well. And Byron, just from, I guess, looking at him from the outside, he seems very humble to me. I don't know him personally.
I don't know enough to form an opinion.
I know a lot of people that's linked with him and what's not, but from what I heard or hear, it seems like he's a humble guy, from what I understand. Okay. But even on his level, like right now, this guy's signed with Interscope. Do you know who Interscope is? You see what I'm saying?
Mega?
So it's a mega record label company. So I like, especially with him being assigned to them when he comes home and stuff like that. we got to embrace somebody like him in a sense, because like he literally could
Could have broken through.
He could stay away if he wants to. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That's what I'm saying. We got to embrace our artists. We got to give people their flowers while they're here, man, and kind of just respect each other, because respect is a two-way street, But going to what you're saying now, if you got an artist that's right here and he's telling somebody, man, you don't know who I am and blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Like, you can't force somebody to know you. I'm going to leave it there.
We have to now present the Winnie Family's midday newscast, and we'll get back to you and our viewers and listeners on the other side.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Locally, Met officials monitoring disturbance in the Atlantic. Traffic Department reports increase in tickets for driving without seatbelts.
The details and more straight ahead.
An area of disturbance in the Atlantic Ocean has drawn the attention of meteorologists as the region prepares for the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. According to the United States-based National Hurricane Center, a zone of disturbed weather over the central tropical Atlantic Ocean is expected to interact with an approaching tropical wave over the next couple of days. Environmental conditions are forecast to become conducive for further development, and a tropical depression could form later this week while the system is in the vicinity of the Greater Antilles or the Bahamas. Although there is no immediate threat of formation, the long-term outlook indicates a 50% chance of development. In the Federation, the National Emergency Management Agency is working diligently to ensure adequate preparation for the peak of the season. Officials recently conducted a simulation exercise to assess the Federation's readiness.
We see the destructive nature of these natural storms. So therefore, here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we continue to prepare in the best way that we can. And this exercise that you are witnessing today is one such way in which we are preparing, identifying gaps, and we have the time now to be able to now fill these gaps and address some of the concerns that the exercise is addressing and identifying. So it is important to really assure the general public that we are, meaning the NEMA, is doing everything possible with the support of the government to ensure that we are in a state of readiness to deal with a Category 5 impact.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, has predicted an above-normal hurricane season with between 17 to 25 named storms with winds of 39 miles per hour or higher. Of these, 8 to 13 are expected to become hurricanes, and 4 to 7 are forecasted to be major hurricanes. Officials at the traffic department have expressed concern over a growing number of drivers deliberately operating vehicles without wearing seatbelts. This issue has become more pressing as the number of related tickets issued in the first 6 months of 2024 has risen compared to the same period in 2023. Data from the traffic department indicates that between January and July 2023, there were 410 tickets issued for drivers and passengers not wearing seatbelts. In the same period for 2024, this number increased to 440, according to Sergeant Sophia Henry.
Well, we have persons paying and some want to challenge it. So the person who's challenging it and they go to court, they get a hefty fine.
Another emerging issue is the number of people driving with children under 5 years old without proper child seats. Figures for 2024 are nearly identical to those of the previous year, with 37 infractions recorded in 2023 and 30 in 2024.
The traffic department is educating the public. That's why we have the radio talks. We also have the VCPs, which is vehicular checkpoints. So that's why we do it on a daily basis. We go out and we check for persons driving with children without car seats.
Despite repeated appeals from the police for increased caution and adherence to safety measures, many drivers continue to ignore these warnings.
For mobile phone for 2023, from January to July, we had 75 persons ticketed. For this year, we had 91.
What?
Wow. Driving whilst using mobile phone.
Drivers face a fine of EC $150 for using a mobile phone or failing to wear a seatbelt, while those transporting children without proper child seats will incur a fine of EC $200. Drivers who challenge these tickets in court may end up facing even higher fines.
Regionally, in Venezuela, where the electoral authority says President Nicolas Maduro has been re-elected for a third term. According to the official count, based on 80% of the ballots, Mr. Maduro won about 5 million votes, compared with some 4 million for the main opposition candidate, Edmundo González. The Venezuelan opposition are alleging widespread fraud in the counting of votes. Our correspondent, Ione Wells, has the latest from Caracas.
Well, these results, effectively, the electoral authorities are saying that President Maduro has won a third term in office. They announced that with 80% of the votes counted, President Maduro had won about 5 million of the votes, and the opposition candidate Edmundo González had won about 4 million of the votes. Now, these results are likely to be widely disputed by the opposition prior to the results being announced by the Electoral Council, who is controlled by the government and by President Maduro. The opposition were claiming widespread fraud in this election. Their particular concern was around the fact that their election observers were barred or removed in some cases from some of the election counts around the country. They said that the receipts that are printed from some of the electronic voting machines around the country weren't delivered. They haven't been able to receive some of those. They said they'd only had access to about 30 30% of those physical receipts showing what the results were from the electronic machines. And their concern was that this means the results were submitted electronically and that could leave things more open to be tampered with. Now, that is something that is disputed heavily by the government. President Maduro has said that these results have been fair. But the big question now is whether the international community recognise this result, whether they recognise his government after the last elections were widely dismissed as neither free, and how the opposition decide to react now. Because in the build-up to this, in the opinion polls, the opposition were well ahead. They were widely expected to gain the majority of votes, judging by some of the opinion polls published before this election. And I think they will not want to concede defeat, given the result that has been announced by the official authorities.
So they're likely to challenge this result. As you say, we're waiting for the response from the international community to this as well. So really it's a waiting game now, is it, to see what happens in the next 24 hours or so?
That's right. And there are a lot of unknowns about what could happen next. Certainly after the last election in 2018, which was also widely dismissed as being neither free nor fair, protests broke out around the country and sanctions were imposed by the US, hitting in particular Venezuela's oil sector. So there is a question now, as I say, about how both the international community respond, but also how the opposition responds here in Venezuela. There was a lot at stake in this election. The economy has been in free fall for a decade. Millions of Venezuelans have fled the country, nearly 8 million in total, many of whom have emigrated to the US. And there are concerns among those who wanted change, who wanted a vote for a different government, about what now happens to the country in general.
The Alliance for Change, they called for the acting commissioner of police Clifton Hicken and other senior ranks under his command to proceed on leave amid growing allegations of corruption, including financial impropriety and possible money laundering in the Guyana police force. Hicken, who reached the retirement age since last year, had his tenure as acting commissioner of police extended by President Irfan Ali in July of last year. AFC executive and member of parliament Kemraj Ramjatan said now might be a very good time for Hicken to retire.
Yes, there is ground sufficient here for the retirement, because you want him to also go on leave pending the investigations, and also because of the fact that he has reached the age. You suffer the deputies that ought to arise when you extend the life, and I have been public on this for over 20 years.
Already, Assistant Police Commissioner Calvin Brutus has proceeded on leave in wake of the serious allegations of financial impropriety that have been leveled against him. Ramjatan, a former Minister of Public Security, said the Guyana Police Force should be a bastion of the best and brightest. But now it finds itself facing corruption allegations of its own, and at the very top.
It seems with all the allegations being hurled around and the documents to support them in the social media from whistleblowers, that the top posts of the Guyana Police Force are highly coveted, not because of a desire to serve and protect, but because these top posts open doors to extraordinary power and riches.
He also said instead of seeking to launder money through the Guyana Police Force's credit union or secure contracts for personal greed, those at the top must direct their minds on how to combat crime in the country. Mr. Ramjatan said given the prevailing situation, those suspected to be involved in acts of corruption should be sent on leave to allow for an independent investigation into the allegations leveled against them. Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben recently expressed his deep concern over the allegations of procurement fraud within the police force. There are a number of calls for an independent probe to be conducted into the allegations of corruption in the Guyana Police Force. Currently, the Special Organized Crime Unit of the police force is investigating the allegations against Assistant Commissioner Calvin Brutus.
$10 billion. That's the amount Agriculture Minister Floyd Green says is needed to rebuild the sector following damage caused by Hurricane Beryl. Mr. Green says after getting more data from both farmers and fishers, the estimated value of damage has skyrocketed to over $6 billion.
So when I spoke in Parliament last week, Tuesday, we were looking at about $5.7 billion in damage to our agriculture and fisheries sector. Now, as I looked at the final figures before coming over here, we're now at about $6.5 billion in damage. And that is the loss to the sector. But rebuilding the sector would normally take about 1.5 times the cost of the loss. So we're looking at close to $10 billion that it will take to get us back to where we were before Hurricane Beryl hit us. So we do have a lot of work to be done.
Mr. Green was speaking at a Hurricane Beryl relief handover ceremony at Hypro on Thursday afternoon. Small poultry farmers were hit the hardest, and Hypro has distributed 140 birds to assist with recovery.
Internationally,
crews scrambling to gain the upper hand on a rapidly expanding firefight. The park fire has already blackened over 360,000 acres, quickly becoming one of the largest in California's history. The size and intensity of the flames generating so-called fire tornadoes, destroying dozens of homes in mountain communities of Northern California that are all too familiar with disasters like this.
There is so much trauma in our community. It wears on our first responders, firefighters, law enforcement.
New satellite images showing how a small fire sparked by a suspected arsonist exploded into a sprawling behemoth, burning through thousands of acres an hour across multiple counties. Firefighters working around the clock.
The line, of course, is the highway. They're trying to push the flames back as far as they can away from community centers.
It's just one of more than 110 active fires burning across the West. Wildfire smoke seen as far as New England. With other extreme weather in the South, severe flooding in Tennessee even reaching Dollywood, a road outside Dolly Parton's iconic park collapsing, and guests wading through water inside. After a local flash flood warning, drivers now urged to use caution, but authorities say the park will reopen later today.
And the big fear here is that the nation's largest wildfire could grow even larger. The good news is that the weather has been cooperating, allowing firefighters to get some containment. We're now up to 12%, but officials say this could last for months.
Thousands of mourners joined a funeral procession on Sunday for 12 children who were killed in a rocket attack on the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. It marks the single deadliest attack in Israel or Israeli-annexed territory since Hamas's assault sparked the Gaza war on October 7th. And it is fueling fears of significant escalation between Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said he visited the town of Majd al-Shams early on Sunday, describing the site of the attack as, quote, a place where innocent girls and boys were murdered during a soccer game. He vowed to retaliate against Hezbollah for the strike. Hezbollah initially announced it fired rockets at Israeli military sites in the Golan Heights, but denied involvement in the attack on Majd al-Shams.
There is no justification for terrorism, period. And every indication is that indeed the rockets were the rocket was from Hezbollah.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Tokyo said Israel had the right to defend itself. But he said Washington also did not want to see further escalation in violence.
We don't want to see it spread. That has been one of our goals from day one, from October 7th on.
Majd al-Shams is a Druze village. The Druze are an Arab minority who practice a form of Islam and make up more than half of the 40,000-strong population of the Golan Heights, territory captured from Syria by Israel in the 1967 Middle East War and annexed in a move not recognized by most countries. Here's one resident who calls himself Haytham. He says, we need to strive now to sign a deal and stop this damned war. We want to live. We don't want to die. Israeli and Hezbollah fighters in southern Lebanon have been exchanging fire for months, but appeared to be avoiding an escalation that could lead to all-out war. Saturday's strike threatened to tip the standoff into a more dangerous phase, and United Nations officials urged maximum restraint from both sides. The conflict has forced tens of thousands of people in both Lebanon and Israel to leave their homes.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Cariboury.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Found the sound 98.9 WINNMedia FM.
Hey there, summer lovers. Ready to make your summer unforgettable?
Oh, yeah.
Get down to Horsford's Building in Neva Center, something summer special, where the heat is on with a sizzling 25% off select items. Fire up the fun with top-notch barbecue grills, perfect for those backyard cookouts. Dive into savings on swimming goggles, coolers, and inflatable and mini pools. Keep your drinks icy and your days splashy. Relax in style with our comfy summer chairs or float away on our luxurious floating waterbeds. And don't miss out on our premium gas grills for the ultimate grilling experience. All this and so much more. Head to Horsford's Building in Neva Center, Something Summer Specials today, and catch these hot deals before they're gone. Something Summer Specials, your one-stop shop for summer fun. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Jamster gave me the green light, says okay, so we're back. We launching in the second half of today's presentation of Voices. It's 12:26. And as I started this morning, and please forgive me for doing this, I'm on the theme of the anniversary of the sinking of the Christina. A lot of folks don't observe it. I know their ceremony is over in Nevis, but it's something that we shouldn't just gloss over. So I presented a clip to the engineer a short while ago. And if you're ready, we're going to create up on plate, you know, because there's lots of information to be shared that a lot of folks, not only at home but abroad, nationals up there in the diaspora who would really appreciate this. So let's do the Jamster. Yeah, that was his fault. That's it. No, not the clip I gave you. We get this sorted.
The MV Christina disaster is a somber chapter in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. Here are some lesser-known facts about this tragic event. The MV Christina was built between 1958 to 1959 by Sprostons Limited in Georgetown, British Guiana, present-day Guyana. It was owned and operated by the St. Kitts and Nevis Ministry of Communications, Works, and Transport. It was constructed via an appropriation of $132,500 from the British government. The MV Christina was a 160-foot ferry boat that had been working the 12-mile route between Basse-Terre, St. Kitts, and Charlestown, Nevis, for 11 years. It was designed to carry 180 passengers. The MV Christina was captained by James Richard Pontine, a 57-year-old Montserratian and former police officer with the Leeward Islands Police Force. At the time of sinking, it had recently undergone refurbishment 2 months earlier at a dry dock in Bridgetown, Barbados. On August 1st, 1970, the MV Christina was overloaded during its final run from St. Kitts to Nevis. Although its passenger capacity was 155, it carried approximately 320 to 322 people on board that afternoon. To reduce complaints of waves soaking the decks, the Christina left port with empty ballast tanks. This practice allowed the ferry to ride higher in the water, but further compromised its stability. When the boat was half a mile off Nag's Head, the southern tip of St. Kitts, and entering the rougher seas that line up with the channel between the two islands, the ferry boat took on water because the captain could not close the hermetic doors of the ship. The captain abruptly turned his ship towards the coast in an attempt to run it aground, but the large, heavy ship capsized and in a matter of minutes it sank. Fishing boats came to help, but only 91 people survived, and the great majority of those were people that had to be rescued. More than 300 people were on board, including Nevisians, Kittitians, and visitors. Tragically, 233 persons perished in the ordeal. After the sinking, 57 bodies were retrieved and identified. 66 bodies were retrieved but were unidentifiable. A number of bodies were trapped inside the sunken wreckage, and those bodies were left in place. A memorial stands on the waterfront in Charlestown, Nevis, honoring the 233 lives lost in the Christina tragedy. The memorial features a list of the victims' names and a map of the ferry's ill-fated route between the islands. A memorial headstone is located in Bath Cemetery on Nevis, and a monument is in Basse-Terre, St. Kitts. This disaster remains a defining moment in the collective memory of St. Kitts and Nevis, touching all segments of society and shaping the future of its people.
Thank you, Jamster, for playing that. That clip was actually sent to me by Mr. Damien Freights out of Sandy Point about 2 days ago. And I listened to it, and I thought it would be quite appropriate to share it with our friends and families out there. Hey, by the way, Bag of Sugar, good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Now, August Monday, for many, many years, was just known as August Monday. We didn't know the significance. It was done by design. A lot of folks did not know the significance. but it was a celebration of emancipation that was declared on August the 1st, 1834. It happened to be on a Monday. And so for that reason, it was called August Monday, but it was actually Emancipation Day. And so as part of the annual celebration, sometime after, people journeyed from St. Kitts to Nevis on that day to observe the horse racing over there. It was part of an annual cultural trek where we went to Nevis. Our folks from St. Kitts and those who had families on both sides went over to not only enjoy the holiday, but be with families, because we were still, to a very large extent, very close-knit. I saw a lady yesterday and I said to her, your name was called this morning. Her name is Yvette. And she said, well, yeah. I said, your brother, because of your brother. She had a brother whose name was Bertram. He was 9 years old. They were my neighbors at the time. And I recall his mother, Shirley, sending him to town, where he joined the boat and was on his way to Nevis. As we know now, that ferry never got there, and he was never seen again. So there are people who are still affected by it. I spoke to a gentleman by the name of Mr. Tyson. I have his business card. I don't have his first name, but I spoke to him last week, Sunday evening. I was on Nevis. I took his taxi service, and he said to me that he was the only surviving member of his family. And then after his family, his mother, father, siblings, they all perished on the trip. Thereafter, in order to support himself, he used to come to St. Kitts to sell lime, other fruits, etc. He's now established as a family man, but he opined that he never received any assistance from anyone. Man, a young man. Your family gone, you're destitute, etc. But he never received any assistance from anyone. I promised to actually give him a full interview on his experience. But that incident shattered so many people's life. Some, I would say no one has received counseling. I don't think that was a thing they thinking at the time, that people need counseling, etc. They were traumatized. It was a case of survive on your own. After the mass burial, etc., etc., there were discussions with certain persons in society about compensation. Who was to be blamed? My understanding was that the ship's agent had warned the operators of the vessel that it was continuously being overloaded. They spoke to government officials who owned and operated the ferry. So that when it sunk, the question as to who was liable for compensating the families, etc., was always up in the air, because the insurance company, well, they were also the agent, they argued that they've been telling the government that the ferry was overloaded. If you recall from the clip, it was designed to carry 230, thereabouts. You had 300, so at least by 100%, it was overloaded. And one of the things that the Vigians are really upset about is that apart from the mass grave, and there was a memorial, or to indicate the spot in the cemetery, there's been no monument, there's been no observance here in St. Kitts as it related to the disaster. 2 years ago, during the 50th anniversary observations behind the Treasury building, it was promised that there would be a monument put in place. The monument is there, actually, and the names of all the folks who perished on that ill-fated trip. But what we're hearing now, apart from the monument, there's been no ceremony, no form of observance as they do on Nevis. I mentioned in the song that we, St. Kitts Nevis, we know all about the Titanic and all that happened with the Titanic. But when it comes to the Christina, there's nothing taught in the schools about it. So you have generations after who have no idea except from hearing it from a passing phrase what took place. It's a part of a history, our biggest national disaster. But because we teach selective history in school, and because it was a topic that the government of the day wanted to get away from, nothing is being done. I understand their memorial ceremony is held on Nevis. Captain Skeeter mentioned over the many, many years, he goes up there on that day, and on the site of the sinking, he lays wreaths, etc. Has to be commended for that. Let's pause and take this call. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices. Good day, caller. We seem to be slow on the trigger. If you can get back into... Okay, I get a busy tone. What? We don't have a caller. Good day, caller. Are you there?
Good afternoon, King.
Yes, Sir Africa. Welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm giving thanks for life. Yourself?
I'm just wonderful.
Yeah. May I have permission to speak?
Most certainly, sir.
Your topic at hand is very somber but timely. Considering I grew up in a fishing town called Newtown, and the captain of the Christina disaster, he was from the Newtown area. In fact, to this very day, people will mistake me for a member of that family because
the Pontine family?
George statue. Huh?
The Pontine family.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just there on what? What's the name of that street? Douglas Street?
I'm not sure, but I can see the resemblance that you refer to.
Street. Yeah. So as a kid, growing up always by the water and to swim early. Taught to swim by my father. And yeah, once the news broke, and news was very scarce, considering pictures today we have cell phones and how information really. Sometimes you get news from New York before you get news.
Quite so.
Sometimes you get news, the King, that occur here, but it comes to you from someone via New York, right?
I know.
But then news was few and far between back in the day. And then once we learned that, a boat sank, a lot of the fishing boats really got down and got out. And,
went out to assist.
Yeah, and back in the day, it was a few outboard motors, But the effort still, the guys, the fisher folks, the effort was to really go out and so forth. And so it's very somber. And for the life of me, I don't know why it took so long for a monument to have been erected down here on St. Kitts End. Because it was a national disaster, and both Kittitians and Nevisians died. But more so,
majority were from Nevis.
Yes,
but even though we claim to be one family because there were so many families, like Bertram, the guy mentioned, he was my neighbor. We weren't blood relatives, but of course it was felt. As a matter of fact, it was around 5:30, 6 in the afternoon when we got the news in Sandy Point.
Yeah, right? And the boat went up probably after 3, 4 o'clock maybe, the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a real disaster. I remember a few other ferry vessels, like apart from the Christina, it had Rosal. Rosal was a kind of more like maybe a riverboat.
Okay.
I think one of them, it had the Rosal and it had other boats.
A cart?
Sorry, the white paper in it. It had other boats that served as a ferry that we had before.
Okay.
Yeah, the King, but yeah, it was a real tragic. And for the life of me, I said, I don't know why we took so long down here to erect a monument. And after that was done, that initiation,
nothing
erecting
since
the monument, they should have already prescribed a date for an annual event there. Because it's like our enemies like we was playing catch up. And such a matter of so many lives that was lost. I don't know what was the thinking of the federal government not to erect a monument sooner. And
Well, the federal government would have come some years after. We were still a statehood. We were still, an associated state. We had a chief minister and all that. So the federal government was not established on something years after, but the persons in charge of the day, as I'm saying, this is my own estimation, they were trying to distance themselves away from taking responsibility for what happened. The ship agents, as I'm told, were telling the government that the boat was continually being overloaded. So that when it happened, they actually washed their hands from it.
My thinking, my thought process right now is like, what you wanted the UK government, because we were not independent, they were responsible for some things. We being not independent.
Isn't that what they want? It's not what they want, you know. You're saying the federal government, which came into play some years after.
Yes, but they came into play good enough time to have initiated that.
Point?
From 83. From 1970 to 83. Then from 83 on to what? 2017, 2018? When was that monument erected? It erected under the Team Unity administration.
Just after we came out of COVID, so maybe 2020, 2021, thereabouts?
Somewhere about there. Good enough time for the previous administration, because there was two administrations before the Team Unity administration. And the Team Unity administration should have sealed the deal because it was erected under them. Go ahead and initiate a date so that we petitions would look forward to that date the way we look forward to the 11th of November when we go around the Senate office.
Fort Thomas here, the Senate office. But here's what. What happens now, we still continue the trek to Nevis on that particular date. So it could be the Sunday before, after, you know what I mean? Have a date that commemorates what happened. But on that August 1st, we still go to Nevis. We now have Culturama, which came into play about 50 years ago. But prior to that, and coincidentally, it's about 50 years, 53 years since the singing of the Christina.
Yeah.
So Culturama is about 50 years.
71.
They're about here. 1970. Right. August the 1st, 1970. And so later on, we found out what August Monday meant. It meant Emancipation Day. Prior to that, we just know the August Monday.
Right, because our consciousness wasn't aware of.
No, we were not told.
It is sad. It is sad because of the incident of the sinking of the Christina and so many lives lost, to know that prior to that, we were celebrating our freedom from physical bondage and otherwise, and so many lives had to be lost around that time there. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's a bittersweet moment.
Another incident took place about the fortress on a similar date, August Monday. We celebrated our freedom in so many different ways, but there are two that records tragedy. One, the bigger one, the largest one, is in the Christina.
Where people got killed because of the stampede.
Up at the fortress.
Dark cloud came over, rain fell. Persons had just ironed up their hair, especially the ladies, and wanted to go in, and those that went in first, the others that went in, you know.
Stampede, the trampled, you know, it was a crush. People didn't want to get wet. But the point is, the point is, even though we didn't say it was Emancipation Day, people were all about celebrating our freedom on August Monday. A lot of us didn't know what it was, but it was actually the celebration of the emancipation of slavery. It happened on August the 1st, 1834.
I heard your earlier part of the program and our genres of music.
Yep.
And
the young man is still here. The young man is still here with
is he
us.
still there?
Yes, he's here. Love his son.
And that's not, they're picking on his particular genre, taste of music. In general, because I heard it to the Calypso long time.
Yes.
I heard Calypso far back than the other genre of music. And then when the Steel Pulse came on board and the Bob Marley and the Wailers and so forth, they had a more conscious lyric.
More positively
that they wanted to
uplifting to our women.
Yes. You know? Yes, but a different genre of music would portray our women in the negative light. And they always say that negativity sells. Negativity brings popularity. And that notion is not the best notion, because, yes, you want to get there, you want to be known, you want to be recognized. But to be recognized and then in the long run, you know, you're like, wow, look how I got up to this pedestal. And, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, no, it's not a good thing, because you're seeing the woman, you're seeing your mother, you're seeing your sister, you're seeing your wife, you're seeing your daughters in the womanhood, you know? And in the society that we were raised in and brought up in, you know, going to church, Catholic church, I was listening in the Catholic church, they would not have seen it fit to exalt a lady into the priesthood, sisterhood, so to speak. Well, they have the nuns, but they cannot get on the pulpit and preach. Now, fast forward to today, we saw in the American election a 78-year-old and a
81
and 79 maybe.
Yep.
Okay, and it's like, now that the President Biden has said, well, he's no longer going to contest the election for 2024. And you see now the disparity within the age, and you can see the enthusiasm for the Democrat Party, and lo and behold, is a woman. What are they going to say now?
Well,
the election has not yet called, and we don't know if she's going to win, but she's favorable. Even by the favorable poll, 6 days into the announcement, you could see the momentum, and you could see, you know, see things as it is. A lot of people are breathing a sign of relief, because according to the other side's agenda, it has the tendency rather to reverse a lot of gains. We're talking about 1834 Emancipation Proclamation and so forth.
No. There's war 1860 something.
I know. I'm coming to that, because like the Juneteenth and so, that's their reality. You know what I mean? I mean, in general, people's rights, irrespective of they're in the mainland or in these islands, people struggle to be where they are today, and to reverse those gains is tough. So you could see, you know, the message of trying to make America great again, and trying to make America smile or laugh again. You know what I mean? You're seeing it now. And the age factor and the gender factor, and the like saying like, oh, she only became the vice president because of Biden wanting to appease dark and brown people and that, like, all of that is coming to play.
But there should be a reflection of America. It can't be all white.
No. And it can't be all things, but it's the reality of the peoples who happen to populate the planet today. And some have the tendency to, like, for instance, Japan and Germany, there are two examples where they are encouraging their citizens to get babies.
No. Well, today, because China had a one-child policy for many years, you know.
I know.
And they regret it because
Japan,
they have an aging
Japan,
population.
The youth, they're not thinking on that line. And in Germany, the record is there. The data is there. Where they are encouraging their citizens to really, let's bring the younger fold.
Okay.
So I just wanted to show that in the respect to all our women, be it they're running for political office, or be it that they're just trying to make ends meet.
Okay.
Do not tend to call them the B word, the negative word.
Thank you for that, Africa.
Respect them for who they are. You get in the bed with them, your wife, that's personal, that's private in the bed. Don't bring out that on the street and in the music. Thanks for listening.
Well said. Thank you very much for that. We go downtown now, Jam, sir.
Thanks for calling.
You have a next call? Okay, let's take it downtown then.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Here are your husband's Value Mart IGA specials.
Running July 25th to August 7th.
Now our Value Club Blue Tank specials. Nutella hazelnut spread, just $13.99. Essential everyday chicken and beef broth, $8.99. Almond breeze, almond milk, $16.99. Essential everyday fries and hash brown patties, $15.79. Essential everyday frozen fruit, just $16.99. Essential everyday napkins, just $12.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Essential everyday ketchup, $4.99. Essential everyday mayonnaise, $19.99. Kool-Aid jammers, $13.99. Pedigree canned dog food, $10.49. The Colgate toothpaste, $7.99. Dial soap, $11.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
No but.
You have a caller? Okay. We're back with voices. We go straight to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You'll have the voices.
Hey, man. Good afternoon.
Your nose must be burning you.
Good afternoon.
You calling me? You got to call me in my sleep.
I mentioned your name so many times, but we're happy to have you here. So let's see what you have to say.
Oh, yes, I'm glad to be here, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get old and you wake up early in the morning and get sleepy early in the morning, you know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about. Exactly what you're talking about.
Well, we give God thanks at least you could lie down and sleep.
That is correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
There's no peace to the wicked, said the Lord. The wicked is afraid to go sleep, you know?
I hit the sack and I go. Go a long time. You don't play well.
I sleep and then I wake up sometime after 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I usually pray for everybody, the good, the bad, and the indifferent in the country.
I hear you.
Good afternoon to all the listeners at home and abroad. And you are touching a very important thing, you know. Yesterday I had on Radio Jamaica RJR.
Yep.
And they were playing the clip from the whatever Canterbury, either the Canterbury. You know, if it's in Jamaica, right?
I missed the last part because your phone beeped. What are you saying?
The Archbishop of Canterbury.
Oh.
He was in Jamaica, I think maybe earlier this month.
Okay.
And he was giving an apology. He accepted that the Church of England owned slaves and was repenting for it.
Mm-hmm.
This matter with Christina will not be resolved until the St. Kitts government, our first national hero, and the Labour Party accept responsibility. I attended, there was a commission of inquiry at the courthouse. You know that?
I know of it. I
attended out of curiosity, you know, and I was shocked. I mean, the treasury used to be just within vision of the peer. And the gentleman, Mr. Osborne, is no good and father. He was the one who used to collect the money. And he testified in the court that he never got any more money than for the 155 that the boat was registered for.
So somebody was pocketing that.
He said it in the court. I don't know where the transcript for the inquiry is.
Wow.
The Little Warren people went up and they also testified and had letters to show that they had to war about the possibility about sinking.
I don't want to mention them, but I know they were the agents.
Yeah. They had written evidence. Women went up and spoke about a woman had lost about 5 children. She saved one.
Whoa.
You know, and different things also. And the British government, they said, gave the federal, but it wasn't federal then, the government, money.
For compensation.
Divisions,
For compensation.
well, maybe to aid, because they didn't take responsibility either. You understand?
I know.
So you can compensation, a grant. And the divisions complained they got nothing. There was an old man who was on the radio. You know, Whitman Brown wrote books about the Christina.
Yes.
I think he wrote 2 books, the Christina and then the Christina 40 years after. And the man was crying, saying, I think the mother and the father died on the boat. Leave 6 of them. A lot of Nigerian children suffered. And they did not get a penny. So they had to distribute the children among relatives.
Last Sunday, I spoke to a gentleman. His name is Mr. Tyson. I don't have his first name. He gave me his card. He said to me that he was the only surviving member of his family.
Yeah.
He had no help, and he has yet to receive any form of assistance. So what he used to do, he used to come down to St. Kitts to sell limes and such to support and, for his survival.
So sometimes when we look at this thing between St. Kitts and Nevis, it's a lot of hard feelings because they are responsible. And we have had enough time now to apologize.
And as I say, government is continuous.
Yeah. So that is why the reluctance, because you have to accept responsibility. It was given. I don't know how could a man look into the window, because his seat was near the window, over the pier, and not ask where there was any money? And why didn't Mr. Bracha?
So perhaps that speaks to collusion.
Yeah.
Can be him alone.
You know, even though this already went out to this unorganized and so. The point is that it was negligence, gross negligence. And that is why it will take a lot to heal the feelings of divisions, because they lost the most. I lost 2 cousins, 2 female women. They used to come down to sell. And sometimes when they don't sell off, they will come by my mother.
And they head back up.
Tangerine and whatnot, So a lot of Nigerians suffered. Children suffered. Kitchen suffered too, because this lady who lost myself 5 children.
That's a hard one.
It's either large or somewhere in the country. She testified in the courthouse. And so that is one of the reasons why there's the reluctance, and that is the origin of the NRP. NRP said, look, it don't make any sense. Think it's Navy and Labor. When they haven't up to today, Dr. Juno has the opportunity to do some redressing. Maybe he wasn't even born, whether or not. An apology should be made to the...
Maybe you need to have a conversation with him.
Who?
Maybe you need to have a conversation with him because perhaps you don't know.
No, he's intelligent.
Well, okay. If they're listening then, because a lot of folks don't really know.
I would urge him. I know some people will say, oh, no. He has the lead of the Labour Party, because it boiled down to the Labour Party, to offer divisions an apology. I mean, he can't bring back who died, you understand? And so, now this thing about the Emancipation Day, it wasn't a lot of happy day, if you read the history. The people revolted,
Yeah, because they voted against the 4-year apprenticeship that were trying to impose on them.
Yeah, and actually they felt that the Moravians, because a lot of them were Moravians, that they had colluded with the British government, because when they read this thing. So they weren't really free. So really there wasn't much. Some of them went to church, but a lot. Interestingly, I read in a book, I don't remember if it's a church in the West Indies, where even in Nevis, the people refused to go back to work. And the Methodists threatened them with excommunication. They can't take communion if they don't think. They had to bring in soldiers from Antigua. Do you know that?
No. But I know down at Winfield plantation, right? That the enslaved, free slaves from the other plantations went there because that particular plantation promised to give their, I don't hate to say slave, the enslaved, their immediate freedom.
That is what.
That in buying to the
there wasn't any. That is why. Cause remember the news in Antigua, you know. The news came that Antiguans were free.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the thing was read, they heard about 4 years of free
apprenticeship,
labor. Yeah. So there wasn't a lot of up and jumping up and down as we just imagine. People say, look, Ella, we're not going back on the estate. They went to the mountains and so. And they had to get them, they had to use force to get them back to work. Yeah. Sometimes when we're talking about celebrating, I don't think the people felt on that day they had much to celebrate.
But here's what, you said that in Antigua, it was understood that they had their immediate freedom. So where the Methodist Church also came in, because they came in with the education system shortly after, you're freed physically, but it came in to control the mind. So that's 4 years. Okay.
That's not true.
With the Methodist Church?
The Methodist Church was here before.
Yeah, but nobody would have been educated before. The missionaries came in now to educate.
No. That's not true.
During the time of slavery, there was no schooling. There was no form of education. It was illegal to educate people. But after emancipation, the missionaries came in now.
Wait. I think we got it wrong, you know. Let me tell you something. The Moravians even trained the people. A number of the estates allowed the Moravians to teach on the estates.
To teach?
Teach. One of the estates down in Old Road area, it was Fort, whatever, down there, I think the man was Philip. He paid the Moravians to teach the young slaves.
Prior to 1834?
Yes. The younger slaves were taught. And a number of the estates.
Taught what, Sister Henry? Because you would train certain preachers to go to on the pulpit.
You see, we don't twist it.
I'm asking because they trained certain preachers to go on the pulpit and preach the indoctrination from the pulpit. You have a black preacher now saying, slave, obey your master.
They could not go into the Anglican also. The education was controlled by the Methodists and the Moravians.
I know about the Methodists, but go ahead. Let me listen alone.
You go check it out. Check out the book. There's a book at public library, the church in the West Indies. Go read it. And I read it. The Moravians were there teaching the people to read, because they wanted them to read the Bible.
Precisely.
Wait, give me a chance, because we doesn't mix it up. What the British said, they were to leave out the book of Exodus, because in Exodus said, let my people go.
Yes.
And the Revelation.
So now we're making sense. Now we're making sense.
Yeah, because Moses said, let my people go.
I said now we're making sense.
That they were given did not have in Exodus or Revelation, because in Revelation you see the judgment,
They were not being taught reading, writing, arithmetic.
And even after, even during the apprenticeship, the ex-slaves began to send their children to school. The Anglicans came in when they had the Education Act, and the British government was giving money to educate the ex-slaves. They grabbed the bulk of the money. They didn't even have proper teachers.
The missionaries.
And they thought, they're the missionaries.
Mercenaries. They were mercenaries. Part of the indoctrination.
Mr. Mr. Man. The black people are reading and interpreting. You see, I think we got this idea that the black people are stupid, you know. I tell you, stop.
No.
They read the Bible and they understood it. Don't fool yourself.
But you just mentioned that certain books was taken out, so it was...
Yeah, 2 books. Exodus. The Exodus is let my people go.
So it's part of the indoctrination. So when you said they were being educated, it was illegal to educate the enslaved because once we learn about our history...
When they got freedom, because remember, you know, some of them work in the house, eh?
Yes.
Always remember that some of these slaves work in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And they learn to read because they taught the children in front of them. I don't know why we don't, do you know that?
I'm not buying that wholesalely. I'm not buying the whole thing that, you know what I mean? But I understand where you're coming from because in the house slave, as a matter of fact, Anguilla was a place that they went to get house slaves because they had a fairer complexion. The Portuguese intermarried, so to speak, with the Africans, and you had that very light complexion, so you wanted to have a house slave in the house. You went to Anguilla to get a clear skin.
They didn't have to go nowhere to breed the women, the black women, and they get half-white children.
Yeah, but you had a higher prevalence of that in Anguilla.
Anguilla was sparsely populated, but a lot of what we don't say is psycho. We don't want to believe it. A lot of blacks couldn't read. Maybe the larger population could not, but the children were teaching the elders and those who lived in the homes. Because remember that they used to send them to work.
Since we're still on the topic of books and everything,
is the book... There's a question being posed to you, Sister Henry. What's the question?
With the children. No. They work with the children. Because remember, the children of the masters were educated in the homes.
Hey, how you doing, caller? Can you hear me?
And anyway,
Sister Henry, can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear you. What you say?
Hey, so my name's Irvin. I'm here on the talk show here for the day with Mr. Socrates.
Marvin, you say?
Irvin.
The Lavi's son, the hairdresser. It's his son.
So the question I have...
All right. Wait, what Lavi's son have to say now?
The question since we're on the topics of books and everything, and not to get away from the real story is the Christina. I'm asking, do you think should it be a requirement, I should say, should it be a requirement for the Christina to be read at least in primary school?
I think they talk about, I'm not too sure if they don't, you know.
I went to school here, and I'll tell you that it wasn't not saying it should be a requirement.
Oh, you made a book?
I went out of my way because I was interested about it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, growing up here,
are you aware of Whitman Brown's books?
So that's what I'm saying. So growing up here in St. Kitts and everything, you know,
I don't think it is.
I had to literally go out of my way to learn about it because I was interested in it. So what I'm saying, do you think?
I'm asking the question: have you read his books?
I have not read his book. I don't think I have.
Well, Socrates, please take him to the bookshop.
I can, but he was indicating that it should be part of the school's curriculum.
I believe so, but
Okay.
remember the political part, you know.
The government didn't want to
Government has not
acknowledge it.
accepted responsibility.
That's correct.
Understood.
So if you're going to give the story and all the evidence,
You must
towards
say
the
what role you
Labour
play
government then.
in it or not.
Gotcha. Because I took it up. My dad
If
actually.
they accepted it, I said, well,
My dad
we're
actually
sorry,
took me
we're
to the
responsible,
bookstore.
We're going to try and help you.
My dad actually took me to Law's bookstore and got a copy of the book for me.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I sat
it's a
down and I
book
read
too.
it myself, and it was an interesting story. And you know, look
You-
at it
and
years
he wrote the
later.
one 40 years after.
Years later, I'm
still.
still interested. You know, it's a really good topic, but I mean, I think it should definitely be in the schools, at least on the primary level, for the kids to know what happened, because it's a historical story that happened right here in our
She's saying that
federation.
you can find that in the school in Nevis.
In Nevis only.
In Nevis only.
Divisions are quite aware. They celebrate it. And that is the reason why you will have the 113 in that constitution.
What clause? 113?
Yeah.
But anyway, let me rub this in your salt.
So look, until we in St. Kitts, I heard the chap say he's going to put down a wheat. If the government don't want to do it, you have the historical association, right? St. Christopher Historical Society. they could take it upon themselves to do the celebration, because that is what they are. In Nevis, it is done by them.
Anyway,
You understand what I'm saying?
there are 3 songs that I know of on the topic. And they were written by 3 Kittians. So what happened to the Nevis got his on the topic?
Nevis want to move far from St. Kitts.
See, but they should also try to document the history of that in song. If they're more concerned about it, what happened to them?
Have you ever written a song about it?
You missed the show this
Played
morning.
it earlier.
Oh, I was sleeping.
Oh, okay, Jam still played for you before we leave. It's called Christina's Pain.
No, but serious.
Yes.
Until, and Kittitians too, because you can't put the blame alone on Mr. Bracher. Kittitians stood up, watched and wailed, and did not ask their government to do anything for Nevis.
You must remember the mindset of the day.
Stop make excuse.
No. The mindset of the day, you couldn't say, you could raise some topic, you were ostracized. You're right, you're correct, they should have, but you have to acknowledge the mindset of the day. You couldn't question Bracher.
All right, let's go up the cemetery. There was the people were buried in trenches, right?
Yep.
I used to live in your town, you know. Watching all of the basket that we made them wash sure in Newtown Bay.
The body is here.
You hear? And so I am saying, you have the memorial. You're going to tell me the fence rotten and dropped down. Nobody take the time. No government took the time or the effort to put back up something. There is a memorial to the 1880 flood. You see that, right?
Yes.
So what happened to the sinking of the Christina?
Well, you answered the question before. But it's long after Bracher, so I just say government is continuous. They should ensure that get the proper acknowledgement.
Yes,
but as you said before, the government of they want to acknowledge it because they want to run away from responsibility.
We have to apologize to Nevis. The decimated
So,
the place.
I will join you in the appeal to Dr. Drew to shoulder the responsibility.
Let me call upon Austin Edinburgh, the communicator.
I deal with Dr. Drew, man. I deal with Dr. Drew on one-on-one.
Dr. Drew, handful.
Yes, but
tell the Prime Minister.
I think he's very approachable. All right?
Yeah, he is.
And so we appeal to him on a one-on-one to shoulder the responsibility of issuing an apology to the Nevisians and for the many Kittians also who did not get that apology that they actually require. That was required.
And have the ceremony in St. Kitts.
The monument is behind the treasury, but there's nothing there. There's no ceremony.
Call upon Edsu Bracher.
She's the executive director of the museum. She's the executive director of the museum, but she doesn't control what happens with the monument.
She control. She could have to organize.
Okay.
Anyway, good afternoon.
Always a pleasure hearing from you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, all this thing about the rejoicing on August Monday, get that out of your head.
No. We were celebrating and going to Nevis. We're observing the celebration.
You wouldn't being happy.
Let's get the books in. Let's get the books in the school. I think we should definitely
work for 4 years.
No, we didn't accept that.
We should get the book in the school. We definitely need to get it in the schools.
Jam should take us out downtown once again to give our sponsors the credit. Then we'll come back. We'll have about 10 minutes to wrap things up.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most. Attention, savvy shoppers. It's that time of year again to Upgrade your home and feed your family with Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. For over 25 years, we've been making dreams come true by offering cashback coupons for free groceries on all hire purchases. That's right, we've given away over $1 million worth of groceries to our loyal customers. And this year, it's your time to cash in on the savings. Whether you're in the market for a new sofa, a sleek kitchen upgrade, or a cozy bedroom set, Hortford's and Ashley Furniture Home Store have everything you need to turn your house into a home. And when you make a higher purchase with us, you'll receive cashback coupons redeemable for free groceries. So why wait? Visit Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Upgrade your home, feed your family, and save big with cashback coupons for free groceries. Only at Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store.
Good afternoon, welcome back. We got about, it's 1:17. Roughly 30 minutes before we wrap things up today. And we go straight to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Socrates, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How about now?
Good afternoon.
Blessed in Jesus' name and greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior of his elect chosen sinners, to save them from the sin and from hell, and the second person of the Trinity that he is.
Amen to that.
Amen, amen, and amen. Oh, yes. Now, a number of years ago, I heard that at least one of the reasons why the Christina was overloaded goes like this. And I'm not going to call any names. But it is my understanding that along with the Christina, you also had one or two other ferries in port as well. At least in the area. And my understanding is, from what I've heard, is that two guys, one at the time was working for customs, and the other one, I understood, had lived Sandy Point. And the two of them were government workers. And it is and from what I've heard, and it is my understanding that those two guys were discouraging people from going on the other ferry, one or two, I forgot the number of it. And because they were discouraging people from going, and those other two ferries were private.
Okay.
Obviously, the Christina was government-owned. And because those two persons, the one that worked in customs and the one that lived at Sandy Point, were discouraging people from going on those other two ferries that were privately owned and to go only on the Christina, that is at least one of the reasons I have heard that the Christina was so overloaded.
Okay.
That's interesting. It is suspected that at least the one who was working customs developed a drinking problem after that.
Conscious?
I've also heard in port there was a little boy who was going on telling people, hey, the Christina going to sink. So it seemed as though maybe one or two persons had premonition of it all.
Also, from what I read as well in the book, while the boat was going down, apparently a lot of the passengers was kind of running to one side of the boat as well, from what I remember reading.
No, that is given as one of the causes where it sank. It said that it started to rain, and people were leaving one side of the boat where they will get wet to go to the other side.
Gotcha.
And caused it to be lopsided, and that is the reason. That was a popular thing up there. So, yeah, go ahead, Gregory.
Socrates, you never heard about the two fellows who are discouraging people from going on these private vessels?
No, but I could understand. I could understand. I've never heard that, but I could understand it. But beyond that, the problem I have with that too is that it was customary to overload the boat. But as Sylvian pointed out during the commission, it was declared that even though the boats were going overloaded, they never collected funds beyond the capacity. So they collected for maybe 300, and just brought in enough money based on the capacity the boat could handle. So there had to be collusion. No one person could control that indefinitely and not be sharing with some superior. So even though you may have had two persons trying to get, well, you're saying encourage people to go or not go on these private vessels, you could understand it. But it wasn't on that one given day. It means it was happening all the time. So you have competition, you have the government ferry, you have the private vessels, etc., competition. But you should not go beyond the capacity of the boats. So irregardless, the operators of the boats are culpable, they're responsible.
Of course. Obviously, that goes without saying. Yes. So and like I said, it seemed though, like I said, one or two people might have had premonitions about it. And like I said, I was told, I think it was by my great-grandmother, Anna. I think she's the one who told me that there was this young fellow going betting people that you're going to sink and something like that. So
it happens because I had a situation where I was going to St. Croix to the show, which was Elimat's organizing it, and we had mixed jokes. We had Shirley Tota, other band members, and all the equipment. Back then we traveled with the speakers. And so while we were at the airport, a pilot was passing, and he asked, "Where you guys going?" I said, he said, "With those equipment?" I said, "Yes." He said, "If I were you, I would not go on that plane." He's a pilot. Looking at the amount of equipment and the man, our people, he says, "If I was you, I would not go on that plane." When I work out, well, if the pilot for this plane going, I going. We left here, Gregory, on a beautiful day, and weather's fine and things good. About an hour into the flight, hit a squall. You hear? And the plane started to toss and dip and dap, and all I kept hearing in my head, the pilot said to me, "If I was you, I would go on that." Mixed starter ball. So it's starter ball. Everybody, I mean, it was that bad. And about 10 minutes after that, it cleared up. So for somebody to say that there was someone saying that the boat going to sing, it's an opinion based on what you've seen, and it doesn't mean that people had a premonition. You just felt it could happen, and it didn't. So people warn you, and then you figure, as I said in my case, if the pilot's flying the plane going, I'm going.
Obviously, the fellow was guessing, but I guess he was guessing based upon the amount of people he saw on it.
There you go.
He made that guess, and he guessed just to be correct.
Yeah. But in terms of what has happened since, are you agreed that there should be some form of observance, the same way you give to the at the Cenotaph on the second Sunday in each month? There should be at least by this time. So even though the government of the day did not acknowledge or have like an annual observance, governments said they should. It was Harris who built the monument behind the Treasury. He's out of office. We have Mr. Drew now, PM Drew, as the Prime Minister. That conversation needs to be had so that at this time of the year, there should have been something mentioned that on the 1st of August, we will meet there and have a ceremony. A memorial ceremony.
But Keith does have a yearly boat memorial thing, innit?
Who?
And he will be having it this year, right?
What's that?
Keith.
Yes, he does. He does. But that's a private citizen, so to speak. That's a private citizen. As a point of the song, we know all about the Titanic. But when it comes to the Christina, very little. In the third verse of the song, right, it goes like, though many books have been written, many of the younger ones are yet to learn about that tragedy. Because in a school's curriculum, there's little or no mention because we choose to teach selective history. It's a fact.
Yeah. Well, maybe before the program, and maybe you could mention something about it and the memorial just to keep people informed against in case anybody wants to go with them, they would know. They would know. So
they hear it loud and clear.
Something about it.
They hear it loud and clear.
Yeah, well, I would think you're more informed than me than that. Trust me, you would be more informed about that. I mean, but you could just mention it for those.
I will, and thank you for that insight. Captain Skeet goes out on I don't know what time, but this can be determined. He goes out on that day. I think around the time that the ship went down, and he goes out and he lays wheat at the location of the site of.
Nag's Head.
Right. He goes out there, I think around the same time of the sinking. So if there anyone interesting, Jamsa, if you want to go for the first time in your life and lay wheat, you know what I mean? And you have a little churching by a wheat. And go on the behalf of WINNFM.
He pointed at me. I'm gonna point right back. We're gonna keep pointing. I'm pointing at you now.
All right. First, we got about 4 minutes to go. So for the sake of Sister Henry and those who didn't hear the song, I'm gonna ask that you play it for, then on that note we close today's presentation of Voices, and hopefully on Wednesday we can continue another debate where we engage our citizens at home and abroad, nationals throughout this diaspora in national debate, whatever topic is.
And when I leave, before we go here, I'm actually going to go to Law's bookstore if it's still around. Because like I said, I haven't been here in so long. And I'm curious to know if this book is available right here in stores, because the kids and the Federation needs to know about the story of the Christina. And I'm glad I actually stuck around to listen to this.
Rap me a song on that.
Rap you a song about it?
Drop a jam, sir. But Dr. Whitman Brown is the author. He would have written 2 books on the topic. So when you go there, ask for Dr. Whitman Brown's books on the Christina.
Sounds good.
Okay, take us out, Jamster. Got about 2 minutes to go, so we got it. So, Sister Henry, this is for you. Jamster is trying his best to find it. Mr. Sutton, it's been a pleasure. I was very much impressed with you when I saw you at the circus, and I'm glad that you took my invitation here this morning. We had quite a chat, and just think of what we discussed. You are an influencer, and you have the chance to just change the whole tone of your song. So, are we live?
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, WINNFM. Thank you, Mr. Socrates.
50 years have come and gone, but the pain still lingers on from one of the darkest days in our history, when thousands were left to mourn from loved ones suddenly taken. On August the 1st, 1970, when the MV Christina came to disaster and sunk in the deep blue sea, where over 250 souls were lost in that tragedy. Some loved ones were recovered, some never seen again, but the pain of that sad memory remains. To some it's just a faded memory, while some can't stand to be reminded of that tragedy. They're still struggling to find closure from when the sinking of the Christina took mother, father, son, and daughter suddenly to meet the Maker. We vow that this will not happen again. While yet to address those still in pain from when loved ones suddenly taken, tore the world apart, some still linger on with broken hearts. Why-oh!
We're different. We're 98.9.